Hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having an awesome day, and today we're testing out the new Jeffree Star collection. Today we're testing out the Star Wedding eyeshadow palette as well as a liquid eyeshadow, which is new from his brand, as well as a velour liquid lipstick from this collection. So that's what we're doing today. It's gonna be first impressions. I will also be doing a 3 looks 1 palette video with this in the future. You know, you gotta get your money's worth out of the palette review. So I will be doing 3 looks with this in the future. Today we're gonna do a simple everyday look and test out the 3 products that I have for you. And my usual disclaimer, if you don't like Jeffree Star videos or Jeffree Star as a person, I don't think he's a great person either, but also I didn't make you click on this video, and makeup reviews are my job, so thank you if you're here on a positive note. And also, I want to give a small shout out to my small business, theopencrypt.com. I do make and build a whole bunch of things, and you can check me out there. I'd appreciate that. And now, let's get started with the palette review, the eyeshadow review, and the liquid lipstick review. I hope you guys will enjoy this. Alright, so let's get started talking about the palette now and what else I got. So this is the palette. It's very reflective, so ooh, say hi to yourself. This, I like the box actually better that doesn't have the ring on it. It just says, has the Jeffree Star logo and says Star Wedding. The ring on this, it just doesn't, I don't know, it stands out on the packaging kind of oddly. This diamond is kind of cheesy, but I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a purse, I guess. And then here's the actual inside of the palette, and I will say I'm showing you this with just natural day night, not running any like studio lights, because I felt like in Jeffree's video and the screenshots and the promo pictures, the palette looked a little more washed out. In person, this thing is really saturated looking, and it looks a lot prettier in person than it did online. I will say, I wish the pink wasn't there, because this looks like a beautiful wedding palette with a little bit of berry tones. The pink's a little distracting for me. I would prefer maybe to see an icy blue. Like a really icy blue. If you have people have like beach weddings and stuff, blue eyeshadow is a good pick for that. But I will say it's prettier in person than it looked online. This looks stunning and I can't wait to use it. However, if you were looking for something lighter, more subtle for a wedding look, if you were doing professional work with this, there's not too many light shades that aren't kind of orangey in tone. So I got the palette. This was $62. Let's see the comparison with another Jeffree Star palette that was $62 as well. So this was $62 for 25 shades, and then the Orgy palette is $62 for 30 shades. So we're getting 5 pans less for the same price as the Orgy palette. I know the Orgy palette is all mattes, but we're getting less shades and paying the same amount of money. So I just wanted to note that because it is an expensive eyeshadow palette. However, if you go through Beautylish and you spend over $50, I think, you get free 2-day shipping, which is what I did, and also you can afterpay it. So I also did that. There's options there if you do it through Beautylish. They don't have those options on Jeffree's site. So the other 2 items I got were a liquid eyeshadow and a velour liquid lipstick, because I love velour liquid lipsticks. It's a really good formula no matter what anyone says. Then I also love liquid eyeshadows, especially for my like under my eye for sparkle. So this says Liquid Star Shadow. This is in the shade Behind the Veil. Everything like trying to read on this box and even on this, because it's so metallic, it's hard to, it's kind of hard to read. So there's that. I don't feel like everything needed to be silver, especially when the palette itself only has like 2 silvery shades. So here's the component in person for the liquid shadow. It's really pretty. This is really beautiful. Now I'm going to use it under my lower eyes today. We're going to do a standard look for me, just testing out the palette first impressions. However, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this Behind the Veil liquid shadow, and I'm just going to swatch it on my hand. And I'll do a 1 rub through. Since I did that like that, I'm going to do one rub through right here, and we're going to leave this on my hand. It's really pretty. Of course, it is, the wand didn't like disperse it evenly so you can see through it, but we're going to let this dry so we can see if it like cracks or crumples or rubs off really easily without using it on my top eyelid today, because we're going to focus on the eyeshadow palette for that. Now the liquid lipstick I got was Tax Break. This looked really pretty. I wasn't sure which nude would really work for me because Jeffree's promo pictures of his liquid lipsticks look so beautiful, but they never look the same in person. So I just went with the brown because it was really pretty, and I really like brown liquid lipsticks. So this is the color. It looks really pretty. We will be trying this on at the end of this video. Really quickly, to give this eyeshadow the best chance of doing well, I'm going to take the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Base in Fair, and I'm just going to put this all over my eyes. Now I feel like for wedding looks, people don't do complicated eye looks per se. Like for my wedding look, I did a red lip. I believe I used Jeffree's Wifey as a red lip, and then I did a little bit of the cremated eyeshadow palette with a single shadow from I think it's a Russian eyeshadow company. They had a good single that was really shimmery and poppin'. So that's what I used for my wedding look, I believe. It's been a while. So, you know, although I do feel like Jeffree really missed an opportunity to reuse Wifey. I know it came out with the Jeffree Star family collection with Nathan. They're no longer together. However, that shade is still stunning, and I feel like he could have repackaged that or come out with a version of Unicorn Blood, kind of like Designer Blood. That was just a little bit lighter. This collection didn't come with a red lipstick, and I feel like a red is a beautiful wedding color. This came with a berry tone in the collection. I know he's a lot of reds, but he could have come up with a slight, like a very lightly lighter version of Designer Blood or Vampire Blood, and it would have been so beautiful. Not Vampire Blood, Unicorn Blood. All right, now that my eyelid primer should be a little tacky and ready to go, let's get started with the palette. I am so drawn to this icy white shade down here, you guys. Love that. And I'm also really drawn to this kind of yellowy shade because I love a mustardy eyeshadow. So because this is only going to be my first impressions, I'm not going to use all the shades obviously, but I will be doing a 3 looks, 1 palette with this so we can see what different kind of looks we can do. So look out for that video soon. But for today's video, I'm going to start off with, let's do Save the Dates, which is this kind of taupey matte color. I'm going to take this on an E38 Sigma brush, tap off my excess, and I'm just gonna start putting this over my crease. Ooh, the eyeshadow primer is perfectly sticky right now. So I'm just gonna put this everywhere. It's kind of a medium blender brush. So it makes everything really easy because it's not too big and not too small. I feel like sometimes when you start off with a really small brush, you have a hard time blending. This shade, really pretty, it actually matches really well to what's in the pan, which sometimes Jeffree shades come off a little bit darker. This one's perfect. It blends nicely, good pigmentation. Also, I would love to know if you know someone or if you did it who has worn a hot pink eyeshadow on their wedding day. Because I guess it's not very many people for this shade, although I do kind of like, I mean, it's called Mrs. Star, but it has a cake imprint. It should have been called like, I don't know, wedding cake icing or something. So next up in here, I'm going to go into the shade, see this really deep berry one is calling my name, but I think I want to keep it kind of light on the eyes since we're doing a darker lip. So let's go to Committed now, kind of this medium brown matte tone right here. Has a little bit of a honey undertone. I will also say a lot of kickback in the pan with the shadow, tapping off a lot of excess. I'm just gonna start building the outer corner here with this shade. Really pigmented, like really pigmented so far, but there was a lot of kickback in this pan, which personally I don't mind because I'm probably not gonna pan this palette anyways. But if you're someone who feels like it's a waste, I do hear you and I understand. Okay, so this is the crease right now. It looks nice, right? Like it's not too dark, even though it will be kind of dark. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a little flat brush, right? Just a little flat one, and I'm gonna go directly into Cut the Cake, which is that icy white shade, because I just have to. My lid should still be tacky since I haven't touched that yet, and I'm gonna put this in the inner corner of my lid. This shade, I'm a sucker for an icy white shade, so don't get me wrong, I'm gonna enjoy it probably. This shade is kind of like, I don't know if you can even tell because it's a white shadow. It's kind of smushy in the pan, kind of crumbly. Like I feel like I'm smushing and crumbling, like how much shadow is just like flying off of here. It's very crumbly. You could go in with a wet brush if you need to, but I feel like the shadow in general is just, it's crumbly, but the shade's really pretty. However, I feel like I'm smushing into the pan. Just because I feel like it's a really soft, smashed shadow. Not necessarily my favorite kind of formula when it's just chunky and too fragile, you know? So I'm just gonna coat this everywhere in the inner half of my lid and take a little bit in my inner corner too, just to drag it down. That looks pretty. I feel like this shadow should have been pressed differently. I think that's my issue, is that I don't know how I'm gonna show you because my white reflects so much, but can we see that it's all smushy? And I feel like I made a huge indentation in this by using it for this one half of my eyeshadow. There's like chunks of it in my eyelashes. I'm not a fan. The color's really pretty. I will definitely be using it. But he's had better icy white shades. The Cullinan shade in the Blue Blood palette and the icy ranch one in the Conspiracy palette are much better icy white shades. So I'm going to take the other side of this flat brush now, go into a different shimmer and see if I like that formula better. So I'm going to go into wedding rings. Let's do wedding rings. Kind of a brown, but I see a little bit of a goldness to it too. I'm going to put this in the second half of my lid into the crease and then blending it in the middle with that white so we don't have like a harsh transition. This is more what I expect from a Jeffree shimmer shadow, to be honest. It's not too overly metallic, it's soft, and it has a little bit of shine that goes well with anything. It's not doing that weird smushy thing like the icy white one did. This one, much nicer formula. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to go into the lighter shade here called Seating Chart, which is this one, kind of a just beige. Honestly, I'm going to go in here really heavy with this Sigma E55 shader brush, blow off my excess in the pan, and I'm just going to dust this under my lower lash line. I don't know how it's going to show up, but I didn't want to make my under shadow heavy, but if I don't do anything under here, I look like a child, so what do we think? With it, without it? You can definitely tell it's there. It looks nice. I wish you could see how many chunks of white shadow are in my lap right now. It's kind of a lot, I'm not gonna lie. So this is the eyeshadow. It's, again, simple, but it is a wedding palette. It's not gonna be super complicated. So I'm gonna do the rest of my eyes now. I'm gonna take this NYX Epic Wear ink liner, which is just a white liquid, and I'm going to put it right in my tear duct on the underside and just draw a little line so that my eyes look more open, they look more wide and bright. And since I slept like 2 hours last night, I really need that today. And now we're gonna do the liquid shadow. So on my hand, dried down, this shade, I didn't expect to have so many different hues to it. So here is the liquid shadow dried down. This looks more blue and this looks more, no, this looks more yellow, this looks more blue. Then when I switch it, this looks more blue, this looks more yellow. It's a really pretty shift. Rubbing it, it does come off, so if you do use this on your lid, it will, if you have hooded lids anyways, it will come up to your crease a little bit, but it's really not bad. It feels comfortable, it's not very crunchy. Yeah, it's fine, it feels fine. Like a little bit came off my hand, like I said, but it's not terrible. So let's use it for my under eyes now. So I'm gonna take the applicator itself. I'm gonna go directly in with this so we don't lose any product. I'm gonna take a little bit right under where I stopped that white. And again, this helps make your eyes look more open and wide and rounder if you need them to be rounder. So that little bit of sparkle under there is really, really pretty. It's very bright and sparkly. So I'm gonna let that dry. We'll see if it creases and crunches on me with the under eye situation, but good liquid shadows don't. I mean, I do this every day. I know how liquid shadows work on them under eyes. So it shouldn't crease, it should be fine. So now I'm gonna do my lashes. I'm gonna use the smoked out ones from Baddie B and a tiny little itty bitty baby wing just because these kind of flare out. I don't want my lash to stop my eye. Again, make the eyes look bigger. So I'm gonna put these on and I'll be right back. So here's how my eyeshadow came out. It looks really nice. Actually, the sparkliness under here is very beautiful and shiny. I will say it's a little bit chemically of a liquid shadow. So when I was letting it dry down, I feel like my eyes were a little sensitive because it was a little chemically, but it's not terrible. And then the eyeshadow came out really nice. This one looks better with the little heart on that side because it's a wedding look. So I'm gonna use the Tax Break color now, which honestly is a great benefit of being married. I would recommend a tax break. So let's try this now. That color's really pretty. So here is the color Tax Break on my lips. So it kind of reminds me of Dominatrix, a little more red into it and a little less dark. If you're trying to get a color comparison to another Jeffree lip color, it kind of reminds me of that one. So it's a really pretty color. I know I need to whiten my teeth, but like, who has time for that? But this is a really pretty color. I think the look altogether, now put together, is looking pretty good. It kind of looks like my everyday kind of look, but with a little heart on the side. Now the lipstick is already drying down very nicely. It's a very comfortable formula. Jeffree has the best liquid lipstick formula on the planet. I don't care. It is what it is. I'm sorry, but it's true, because it's not only comfortable, but it dries down matte and I don't have to touch it up through the day. Say what you want about the man, but that liquid lipstick formula is bomb. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this first impressions video. Everything so far is pretty good except for that one shadow, the icy white. I would suggest applying it with your finger all over for less of a mess, but it's still gonna be kind of messy. It's a chunky, pasty formula, but the rest of it seems nice. So yeah, this is the final look. Thank you guys for watching today's video. You can check out my small business, theopencript.com, link down below, and have an awesome day.